Hi everybody, I'm Dwayne Laughlin. I'm an author. I thank you for taking time to watch this video. This is for the Adventure Fiction channel, and the simple question this video is devoted to is, what is adventure fiction? And I'm going to get to the answers immediately. Number one, it's a genre of literature that seems to be the odd man out in terms of modern recognition. Now, hang on. I will get to the positive answer, but I want to take a minute to mention this because those of you who are authors and you put your books up on places like Amazon's KDP, you probably know that they have these categories you're to put your books in, and there is no adventure fiction category. There's romance, thrillers, self-help, fantasy, comics, graphic novels, etc. No adventure fiction. I don't know why the category isn't on their list, but it's not on their list. Well, I think adventure fiction really should be considered as a genre of its own. I know there's a lot of crossover, and I'll mention that later, but still I really think it is something specific as far as a modern kind of literature. So I started this adventure fiction channel to give adventure fiction the attention I think it deserves. So second, and here's what you might call the positive answer, adventure fiction is stories that feature physical action, courageous heroes who are overcoming danger and adversity. Essentially, it's about that. It's not about political issues. It's not about solving one's personal problems. It's not about people falling in love. It's not even about solving mysteries and crimes. Now, many of those things, maybe all of those things in one way or another, can be included in adventure fiction. But first and foremost, the stories are about someone who's experiencing adventure, a courageous individual facing risks and finding ways to overcome daunting odds. There's also the element of pacing in adventure fiction that I think is different from other fiction, and that is these books are written in a manner to help the reader feel an adventuresome spirit. They're not stories that readers should wade through or slog through. In fact, if you are reading that kind of story, I would say that's really not adventure fiction. Adventure fiction is written to maintain an interesting pace, stories that are designed for excitement and entertainment. Another thing true about adventure fiction, and I said I'd mention this, is that it is a genre with overlaps. Spy thrillers, military stories, westerns, science, romance, all of that can fit into this category as long as those stories involve peril, physical challenges, lots of action, human beings fighting enemies of some kind. Another thought about adventure fiction, for those of you who know about what they refer to as pulp fiction, and I'm not talking about the Quentin Tarantino movie starring John Travolta. I'm talking about the type of literature that became popular in the early 1900s called pulp fiction because it was written on that pulp type paper. Well, for me, great pulp fiction heroes, examples of them would be Doc Savage, Tarzan, John Carter, Conan the Barbarian, and the works of writers like Jules Verne, H.G. Wells, and many other authors we could mention. And I think moving from the early 1900s, later on, I think somebody like James Bond fits adventure fiction. Some of you want to argue with that. They'd say, well, he's more of a spy story, but still, his stories are adventurous. They keep you engaged, and you feel a sense of excitement as you read them. In our present time, Clive Cussler's Dirk Pitt and characters he creates, I think, are prime examples of this genre. So the bottom line is adventure fiction is books written to make grand adventures play in the reader's mind. It's my favorite kind of story. It's the kind of story that has inspired me ever since I was a teenager. And so with this adventure fiction YouTube channel, those are the type of books we discuss. We talk about the stories, we talk about people who write the stories, we talk about the process of writing the stories, and we certainly have a good time doing so. And I think I've said enough to explain it, so that's all I'm going to say for now. I'm Dwayne Laughlin. Please check out other things on our Adventure Fiction channel.